Direct from the broskination headquarters in Los Angeles, California, this is the Broski Report with your host, Brittany Broski.
Welcome back, ghouls, goblins, ladies, and germs, or anything in between. What the fuck is going on, you weirdos? Here is the State of the Union. The set decor is not going anywhere anytime soon. Unfortunately, I think it's just going to keep getting worse. If you're going to come back in here one day and the whole black drop is going to be black, sure, fuck it. Sure, fuck it, words don't matter, I guess. I had a cortado and I'm speaking in tongues on this motherfucking mic. On this motherfucking Shure S7. Hey guys, welcome back. Hey guys, okay, so now that you're listening, you're gonna click on a video one day. Okay? Nervous for me, because what the fuck am I ever saying? You're gonna click on a video one day, the whole map is gonna be lace, black lace. And on it, the whole map is going to be made of spiders, live spiders. And I'm going to say, spiders, form Ireland! And then all of the silver is going to come and combine and make just the continent, the island of Ireland. And then I'll say, form Sri Lanka! And then they'll all rearrange into Sri Lanka, and then I can point to it. And my pointer is going to be like in Madagascar, King Julian has that skeleton hand. I'm going to have that. And then it'll go like this. When he's pointing at shit and it's flopping around. Madagascar, I don't think we gave enough flowers to what a masterpiece of a film. What a masterpiece of a cinematic experience that movie really fucking is. Like, truly, Madagascar. Cars, as we know, Cars was very, very formative to me. I would say Flushed Away. Because Flushed Away, I'm glad that Flushed Away is getting kind of like a renaissance where, you know, Rat Boy Summer or whatever the fuck that was. Roddy from Flushed Away. I believe his name was Millicent Bystander. Right. If you guys have seen Flushed Away, you know about that. You know about that. There's a scene with the fucking toads, with the frogs, where whenever he's giving like, okay, the really posh, like, aristocratic frog who was flushed down the toilet and like set up dominion in the sewer. He has this whole speech where he goes, the darkness, and his eyes go different ways, and there's like this sad music going on in the background, and then as his eyes go different ways, it focuses on a fly, and then it eats the fly. There is such cinematic genius that happens in the DreamWorks animated film Flushed Away. That is DreamWorks, isn't it? Yeah. And the slugs, dude, bro. Is that Aardvark who makes that? Who's the animation studio? What animation studio made Flushed Away? Aardman Animations in collaboration with DreamWorks Animation. It was the first Aardman film to use computer-generated imagery because usually it is stop motion. Because they did Wallace and Gromit, right? Does Aardman do Wallace and Gromit? Cheese Gromit! Cheese Gromit! Yes, Aardman Animations produces the Wallace and Gromit franchise. Wow. Gromit, dude. Gromit, here's the thing about their toxic ass dynamic of Wallace and Gromit. I need a therapist to study Wallace and Gromit's dynamic because there is no fucking way that at least like Gromit wasn't beating up on Wallace. You know what I mean? Like Wallace and Gromit had a sort of dominant submissive dynamic. If you want to put, if you want to put a name on it, it was Gromit was the dom. And Wallace was the sub. Or maybe they switched off. Because Gromit really took it on the fucking chin, okay? He's scrubbing the floors, he's doing the weeds, he's making him coffee, he's doing all this bullshit, and Wallace's big ass would come in there, cheese, Gromit! How about a nice cup of tea, Gromit? No, they're getting away! We've got to hide the body, Gromit! The Were-Rabbit. Hilarious. The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Y'all, I need to personally revisit Wallace and Gromit because of course I love them. And when I every time I go to the UK, which speaking of, today I leave for the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. I'm going to London, and then I'm going to Reading and Leeds, and then after that, I'm going to the motherland. So when I'm in London, at all those little junk shops, which I love a fucking junk shop. Trust, I love a junk shop. They always sell those Gromit mugs. And I always am like, don't buy! Like the thing in Addams Family, the fucking hand. It'll jump through the air and Gomez will catch it. That's how I feel. I need one so bad. I love Wallace and Gromit merchandise. And I'm somewhat of a fake fan because of course I love Wallace and Gromit, but I haven't seen the shit the way that like I probably should have. And on top of that, what's the other one? Chicken Run. I was more of a Chicken Run child growing up. I loved Chicken Run. That was my favorite movie. I haven't seen it in probably 20 years. Okay. I need to rewatch Chicken Run and I need to watch Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Look at Gromit is so domestic. Honestly, Gromit is kind of my dream man. Anthropomorphic Gromit from, and I loved Shaun the Sheep. I loved Shaun the Sheep. He was so silly. Shaun the Sheep. No! The baby from I have very maternal instincts over the baby from Shaun the Sheep. What was his name? Timmy! No! Look at him! Look at Timmy! He's so... I'm gonna freak out! I'm gonna freak out! Look at him! Look, him so happy! He's got Binky! And he's got a teddy! I'm literally gonna freak out! Him was so little. Look at him! I guess I need a Timmy from Shaun the Sheep tattoo. Maybe that's the only logical conclusion to draw here. I love him, and I love Baby Gromit. Baby Gromit. Oh my god! Look at him! That Baby Gromit! I'm gonna start crying. I'm gonna start crying! Look at him! No, my son! My baby boy! Oh, wow. Something about Baby Gromit and little Timmy from Shaun the Sheep make me very maternal. I would lay down my life. They always say you won't understand a mother's love until you are a mother. I would do anything for Baby Gromit and for Timmy from Shaun the Sheep. Will I ever have kids of my own? No. Okay. Moving on. Every time I'm in the UK, anyway, my point being, I see Wallace and Gromit merch, and I need to tap the fuck in. On my flight today, I'm going to watch every single Wallace and Gromit movie and episode that's ever happened. Okay? Does Aardman also make Creature Comforts? It's a movie? No, it's not a movie. Creature Comforts is a... Yeah, Creature Comforts is... I still love Creature Comforts. It's like a animated short where they would interview people on the street, just like British people, and they're just chatting shit. Like chatting shit, aren't they? Just saying bullshit. And which reminds me, one of my favorite memes on Instagram is videos or like pictures of people just dicking around at the gym, like doing not real reps, not real exercises. And the caption's always like 4 sets of some bullshit. Look at him, there you go, 4 sets of some bullshit. And it's always somebody like upside down on the fucking, like doing some bullshit. It's so funny. Okay. Creature Comforts. Anyway, like I'm saying, they would animate to the audio of interviewing just random British people out on the street. And it's so funny. The little nuances that you can accomplish in stop motion and claymation of like how they move and how the body moves and how they blink. Whatever. It's just so fucking funny. That's why Flushed Away. I would go as far as to say Flushed Away, one of my favorite movies ever. Definitely a comfort rewatch. It was me and my siblings' favorite movie. There's some great music in that movie, really, really love Flushed Away, and I'm very happy that it's having a little renaissance. I don't know if people are really watching Flushed Away or if it's just the memes from that movie, but yeah. Wow. Go give it a watch if you've never watched Flushed Away. And also, don't look at my hair this episode. And if you look at my hair, I'm actually going to be pissed off. I'm going to be pissed off at you. And you're going to be blocked. Because I can tell. I can tell which one of you people, because I've got AI face detecting technology on the Broski Report set. And so when we publish these videos and you watch and you look at my hair and you're thinking, her hair looks bad. Guess what? You're getting blocked. And also I just sold your credit card information online because of my AI face detecting technology. Okay, what was I going to talk about? I'm leaving for the UK and Ireland. If you're watching this on September 2nd, which I'm sure you are, and if you're not, hi from the past. September 2nd, I will be back in the States by then, but right now I'm pre-filming. Do you understand? Is everyone on the same? Everyone? Okay. I'm pre-filming right now, so if you're watching this right now, I will have just gotten back. So probably today, September 2nd, I am filming my recap of my trip to the UK and Ireland. It's kneecap, no recap! So we're doing Reading and Leeds, but also, because for all my British girls, all the British fans, I've never done Reading and Leeds, okay? And I'm trying to find something that would be comparable to a festival in the States that is as intense as Reading and Leeds is. And what I've come up with is maybe like a Bonnaroo, maybe like a Lollapalooza. Anyone who's been to both, let me know in the comments, because I know Glastonbury is like the Coachella, right? Glastonbury is like, it's not Glasto. That's the one. Reading and Leeds, I've always heard of Reading and Leeds, but it's been described to me as a lot of drunk teenagers and it's very muddy and you're pissing on the ground. Yay. I have brought some wellies. I bought some fucking wellies, haven't I? I've got me wellies and I've got some plastic bag. I put my wellies in my fucking luggage, don't you know? And we're going to see how I behave at Reading and Leeds ultimately, because I'm doing a set. Not singing. I'm doing a set with Max Ballingby and Charlie Marlowe, and they're interviewing me on the respective days, and we're literally just gonna have fun on stage. So Broski Nation, if you came, thank you. And I'm so excited because I don't know what to expect. And of course, Bestie Taylor's coming, and we're gonna see what the fuck's going on at British festivals. I feel like it's a once in a lifetime thing. I just gotta do it and I gotta see. And if I like it, I'm going to come back. And if I don't, there you go. And if I don't, okay. So we're going to see Reading and Leeds. Obviously, Hosier and Chapel Roan are going. Obviously, even if I wasn't going to perform on a stage, I would be going anyway. Okay. After that, we leave the UK and we go to Dublin. We go to Dublin and then we drive to Galway, drive back to Dublin, and then we're going to Electric Picnic. Yeah. And guess who the fuck else is headlining Electric Picnic? Hosier. You guys can't get away from me. Andrew, stop following me. Stop. But the real reason I'm going to Electric Picnic, Sam Fender. Thank you. You guys know I'm a big Sam Fender head. I'm a fucking Fender head. I'm a for real Fender head. And this will be the first time I'm seeing him live. I'm going to freak the fuck out. I'm bringing a diaper. What's wrong? Never seen a grown woman wearing a diaper at a festival? Get used to it. European festivals, again, we'll see how I act at Reading and Leeds, and I'll kind of get the lay of the land, because I don't really know about Electric Picnic. We'll see. Okay, so because I'm going to Ireland in about 4 days, I figured we would look up Atlas Obscura. And if you're not familiar with Atlas Obscura, it is the weirdo shit to do in every city or country that you go to. And I think it's been curated by, you have to be a member on the website. I'm actually not sure who curates this, but it's really neat. And I use it for every city that I travel to because, you don't want to just do like the art museum, the famous church, the government building. Like, okay, sure, every fucking city has that shit. What's the weirdo shit that's only specific to that? Like the Paris catacombs or like In London, there's a bunch of abandoned underground, whatever, like that shit. Or even last time I was in London, you can go to there's a Sherlock Holmes museum, which was really fucking cool. I got my life when I went there, and I got me a little mug. They met that day at 221 Baker Street. Okay. So Alice Obscura, we're going to do it for Dublin, and then we're going to do it for Galway. Okay, in Dublin, what are we rocking with? The Long Room Library of Trinity College. Noted. Next, I'm going to butcher this. I'm sorry to all the Irish girls. I am sorry up front. And also, Giahuish. And that wasn't bad. Giahuish. Okay. St. Meekin's Mummies. An Irish church where an 800-year-old mummy is reaching out of his coffin as if to shake hands. Yeah, let me go ahead and click on that, because what do you mean? Reaching out of his coffin? Oh. Why are they just open? Why are they open? Oh, guys, I don't like that. Okay, Down a set of dimly lit narrow stone steps in a vault underneath the church lay dozens of coffins and one mummy ready to shake your hand. The mummies in the basement of St. Meekin's Church in Dublin, Ireland are really only available for viewing because of a loophole in the rules of the church. Love a loophole. St. Meekin Church has an interesting history even without the mummies. The foundation of the church was built in 1095 to serve the ostracized Vikings, who were still in Ireland after the rest had been killed or kicked out by Wolf the Quarrelsome. So me, Wolf the Quarrelsome, and other Irish forces in 1014. Now, the last time I was in Dublin, I remember telling you guys about this, the Viking boat tour. Hey, that shit was so much fun. We need to do it again. I'm literally going to force my friends to do it again with me. It's an old duck boat from the 40s, like from World War II, that they've repurposed. And a duck boat is one that goes from driving on land to becoming a boat in water. Like the wheels come up and then you can float and there's like a motor. And we did that. And you drive all around like the city, kind of along the River Liffey. And then you get into the River Liffey and they make you wear a life jacket and then a Viking hat. And then you boo people. You yell at people. Yeah! As you drive to the city and you're in your Viking hat. There's nothing more fun. I love being obnoxious in public. When I go, what just happened? What was that? I'm speaking in tongues this episode. Bitch, I had a cortado. Take a breath, bitch. Okay. Wolf the Quarrelsome. Let's get back to him. The church was rebuilt in 1686. I can't even fathom something that fucking old. And a large pipe organ was installed in 1724, on which Handel is said to have first played the Messiah. Gag. Okay, you want to know something else I learned recently? I know 2 episodes ago I talked about Art Deco versus Art Nouveau. Here's something else. I learned about Baroque versus Rococo. Okay, Baroque was, well, we all know what Baroque was. I don't need to explain it. Baroque was essentially the wider time period, and it predates Rococo. And both of them are very ornamental design styles. And Rococo really was for the nobles. It was for like the richies. Let me Google it. Baroque, originating in the 17th century, is known for its grandeur, drama, and use of rich colors and light. Rococo, emerging in the 18th century as a reaction to the Baroque, is characterized by its lightness, elegance, and focus on ornamentation and decorative details, often with playful and whimsical themes. Okay, yeah, but what's the difference? Oh, that's right. Baroque was kind of for churches. It was mainly in churches. It was a way to decorate religious spaces and things owned by the church. And then Rococo was a departure from that because it celebrated the nobility and how wonderful it was to be a noble. Both were kind of obviously very rich. These were spaces that were owned by the incredibly wealthy, but one was more, there's a word for it. It escapes me. One is more, what the fuck is the word? You guys know what I'm trying to say. Okay. Baroque is from 1600 to 1750. It covers a really wide stretch of time. And then Rococo was 1715 to 1789, which that makes sense if you understand that 1789 was, of course, the French Revolution. Rococo was very popular. It got its origins in France, and I would say maybe was kind of contained to France, versus Baroque had its origins in Italy. Italy! Can I talk today? What the fuck? Italy! And then Rococo was French. The collapse, or I guess falling out of fashion of Rococo makes sense with the French Revolution because people were fed the fuck up. Okay, when you're storming the palace at Versailles, when you're storming the gates, when you're beheading royalty, monarchs, and nobles, it's like, maybe we're kind of done with this. You know, maybe we're kind of done because we're actually starving in the street right now and we don't have access to clean drinking water and we're eating 3-day-old bread and you guys are up in your fucking palace with your gold leaf, what's that called? Gilded fucking like, oh, it was just so over the top. Rococo is so over the top. Palace at Versailles, Hall of Mirrors. Look at this shit if you've never seen this. Google pisses me off. It doesn't work. The AI shit doesn't work. This is Rococo. Rococo. I mean, it's just to a degree that is so fucking ridiculous that of course it ended with the French Revolution. And then after that came... What comes after the art movement followed Rococo? Neoclassicism? Which arose as a reaction to the frivolous and ornate style of Rococo, championing simplicity, rationality, and themes from ancient Greece and Rome. Makes total sense. Also, with the 19th century, we see... Yeah, that actually makes total sense, because in the 19th century, it's a return to academic painting and still lives and accurately capturing the world. But at the same time, you have like Impressionism, a lot of different things going on. And then, like we talked about 2 episodes ago, turn of the century, we have Art Nouveau, Surrealism, Art Deco, and then like Cubism, Futurism. You start getting into like mid-century modern and like postmodern and all this. I mean, it just like every art movement is a reaction to the previous, which I like. It's a reaction in some way. It's either a response to or a reaction to. So this makes total sense. It was what is at odds with how frivolous and over the top Rococo was, neoclassicism. Even though this is one of those historical, not faux pas, but like misunderstandings of them thinking that a return to Greek and Roman was simple, when in reality, Greco-Roman statues and art was so colorful, and it was painted and it was over the top, and the tile work and whatever. So I don't know if I would call that a return to like simplicity. I digress. Okay, let's go back. The mummies. Let's go back to my bro, the mummy.
This episode is sponsored by ZocDoc. Is the wellness world making you feel like you're not doing enough lately? Not drinking enough water, not doing the right 3-hour skincare regimen, not making the right vegan, gluten-free, keto, paleo, Mediterranean salad? What we should be doing is seeing a real doctor, one who can actually help you figure out the right health plan for you. ZocDoc makes that part easy by giving you tons of doctors to choose from and letting you book in seconds directly on their website. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. With ZocDoc, you can book in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and are highly rated by verified patients. You can also filter based on specific preferences, whether that's looking for a male doctor, speaks a specific language, has availability that fits with your work schedule, or just has an opening in the next day or so. Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings. Choose a time slot that works for you and click to instantly book a visit. Appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. Sometimes you can get same-day appointments. I used ZocDoc, as we all know, to find my dermatologist, and he keeps me in line. He's my mole monitor. Shout out to him. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/broski to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/broski. ZocDoc.com/broski.
Oh, all that to say that the large pipe organ that Handel played on, Handel and Bach and Beethoven were all Baroque. And if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. But all along, as the church changed, the crypt stayed the same, slowly mummifying all that lay within it. There are a number of theories as to why the corpses in the basement have been preserved over time. One is that the basement contains limestone, making the basement particularly dry and therefore good for mummification. Another is that the church was built on former swampland, and that methane gas is acting as a kind of preservative of the bodies. They're being preserved in fart gas, bro. Someone farted hot down there and it preserved all the mummies. It mummified all the fucking bodies. Other theories involve the presence of oak wood in the soil, or the building materials used in the church, or maybe magic. Regardless of the reason, whatever is preserving the mummies is also disintegrating their coffins. Ew. That's nuts. Why aren't the bodies decomposing? The fart gas, the fart bubble. After a certain amount of time, the wood falls away and a well-preserved mummy comes tumbling out. This is where the loophole comes in. For though it would be inappropriate for the church to break open caskets looking for mummies, when the mummies reveal themselves, so be it. Ew. Oh, I don't like that. I don't think y'all should be bothering those mummies. The mummies have indeed revealed themselves. While there are caskets strewn about and in small nooks in the wall, some coffins are falling apart enough to reveal an arm or leg. The most visible mummies are the Big Four. 4 mummified corpses which have no lids on their coffins and are displayed together. On the right is a woman, simply called the Unknown. And well, there isn't much to say about her. The middle one is known as the Thief and is missing parts of both feet and a hand. Some say the hand was cut off as punishment. It is believed the thief later converted and became a priest or respected man, which is why he is buried in the church. Is it common practice to bury people in a church? Like, isn't that the whole point of why there's cemeteries and graveyards? Who gets buried in a church? In general, people are not buried in modern churches, but in churchyards or cemeteries. However, exceptions exist for saints, bishops, and other high-ranking clergy, who may be buried beneath the church as a sign of honor and spiritual connection. The practice of burying people within church walls originated in ancient Roman catacombs and continued with elite members of society. But by the 10th century, it became more common to bury the faithful in the churchyard. So we can assume, maybe, that the people buried in the bottom of this church were probably clergymen, probably were affiliated with the church in some way. But even then, how do they know it's a woman? A woman definitely wouldn't have been allowed to be buried in the church. This is nuts. Next to him on the left lies a small woman, thought to have been, and known as, the nun. Well, even then, no. Nuns are separate from the organized fucking patriarchal religion of like an Abrahamic religion. But the true star here is the coffin set apart from the others and belonging to an 800-year-old mummy called the Crusader. Though it may be apocryphal, now what does that mean? Of a story or statement of doubtful authenticity. Oh, great word. Although widely circulated as being true.
Apocryphal.
Apocrypha are biblical or related writings not forming part of the accepted canon of scripture. What the fuck is this? Some of which might be doubtful authorship. Hey guys, let me take a second and put my tongue back in my fucking head because I cannot talk today. My tongue is tucked somewhere back in my tonsil and I can't get my words out. So just bear with me. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry. Apocrypha are biblical or related writings not forming part of the accepted canon of scripture, some of which might be of doubtful authorship or authenticity. Okay, me on AO3. Non-canon. This is a non-canonical fan fiction of the Bible. Please, no judgment. In Christianity, the word apocryphal was first applied to writings that were to be read privately rather than in public context of church services. Now, why are you bitches doing private readings? This is not a damn tarot card reading. This is a book of the Bible. If you don't give that to the people, and don't get me started. Don't get me started. Fucking gatekeeping ass religion, bro. Okay. Though it may be apocryphal, it is believed that the Crusader, this 800-year-old mummy, was a soldier who either died in the Crusades or returned and died shortly thereafter. This assumes that these were the Fourth Crusades, the only ones that match with a date of 800 years old. Curiously, the Fourth Crusades turned into a kind of piratical free-for-all, ending in the sacking of Constantinople without the permission of the church. They had gone rogue. The Crusaders went rogue. The Crusader was quite tall for the time, 6.5 feet tall, a giant back then, and his legs have been broken and folded up under him to fit him into his small coffin. I'm going to freak out. His hand stretches out of the casket slightly, and visitors were once encouraged to give it a shake. Guys, don't shake the mummy hand. The crypt also holds the coffins of the Shear brothers, who were executed by the British, and as was discovered recently, drawn and quartered as well, for the Rising of 1798. And as well as mathematician William Rowan Hamilton, the many Earls of Kenmare, and supposedly, though others claim him too, the remains of Robert Emmet, the Irish rebel killed by the British in 1803. See, I understand that. Like, those people deserve to be buried under the church, according to, whatever right or... But even then, it's like, who decides that? I'm so interested in, like, the rules of the church, because they're so random and, like, arbitrary, and there's no rhyme or reason. There's exceptions made here, there, and the other. It's like, okay, fucking sure, I guess, but no women. The crypt is said to have been visited by a young Bram Stoker, inspiring a certain morbid streak that would later serve quite well for the author. Update as of July 2023. The church is no longer open to visitors. Update as of September 2023. The church is reopened for visitors, but is restricted to Tuesdays and Thursdays. Update as of June 2024. What the fuck? Sadly, due to an arson attempt in the crypt, 5 mummies, including the Crusader, have been destroyed. Wait, I'm actually devastated. Who the fuck? It is uncertain whether the crypt will be reopened to visitors. St. Meekins hope to have the National Museum of Ireland assess the remains to see if they can be salvaged. What the actual fuck is wrong with people? Like, for real, what the fuck is wrong with people? Okay, what's this? The Hungry Tree. What the fuck? An 80-year-old plane tree is devouring an iron bench at Ireland's oldest law school. Most trees feast upon a steady diet of carbon dioxide, water, and sunshine. Some, though, like to absorb other things as well. The arboreal bench eater, that name goes crazy. The arboreal bench eater is located within the grounds of the Honourable Society of King's Inns, Ireland's oldest school of law, established in 1541 during the reign of King Henry VIII. The grounds are open and accessible to the public and lead on to Henrietta Street, which along with King's Inns itself has been used as a location for many films and TV dramas. Okay, I want to go back to this other one. What is this? National History Building, National Museum of Ireland. Dublin's Dead Zoo serves as a window to Victorian museum design. Now, of course, my ears just perked up. Of course, my ears just went, huh? Since 1857, what is going on? Since 1857, visitors to the Natural History Building of Dublin's National Museum of Ireland can see not only the animals and minerals of Ireland, but, as some say, a museum of a museum. Containing a collection of over 2 million specimens, the museum holds minerals and other geological items, as well as taxidermy and the skeletons of animals of Ireland and the world, both current and extinct. The real draw, however, is the way the museum layout and displays have gone seemingly unchanged since Victorian times. Filled with wood-framed glass cases harboring stuffed African game and situated underneath gigantic whale and shark skeletons suspended from the ceilings, the museum showcases its collection now in the same way it did at the turn of the last century. Many of the stuffed and mounted or pickled animal specimens, not pickled, not pickled, not pickled with dill and garlic. Why would they say that? Like, just say it's embalmed in formaldehyde. Why would you say pickled? That made me giggle. Ain't shit funny. Ain't shit funny about pickling animals. But you had to go and say pickled. Okay, moving on. I'm not going to visit the pickled watermelon fucking cactus cheetah hyena, bro. I'm not visiting the pickled cheetah. Oh, this is sad. Some of the animals have bullet holes in them. Among the most notable items in the collection are the Blaschka glass animals. Made in Dresden, Germany in the 1870s by father and son glassmakers Leopold and Rudolf Blaschka, the glass is an excellent way of demonstrating to visitors what hard-to-preserve animals like anemones and jellyfish look like, and one of only a few collections. The largest collection of their glass flowers is found at the Harvard Natural History Museum of their exquisite and astonishingly realistic work found in the world. I would like to see said glass animals. Now, do we think that is the inspiration for the band Glass Animals? Boschka glass animals. Did they say it was at the Harvard Museum of Natural History? What did that say? Harvard Natural History Museum. Boom. Whoa, what the fuck? Now, how the hell? What the hell? What the helly? Me at the Harvard Natural History Museum. What the hell? What the helly? They're pickling jellyfish, bro. They're eating them with chopsticks and they're sucking on them and they're dripping down their chin and shit. And they're pickling animals with dill and garlic and paprika, bro. What are you guys doing over here? You guys are nasty. Ew! Can I just try it? No, I don't know. Can I just try it? Can I just have a little bite? I'll put it back. I just want to see what. No, stop! I just want to see what it tastes like. Okay. Many years before they were commissioned by Harvard University to make the glass flowers. Let's see what glass flowers are. Now, what the fuck is this? I need to know what exactly they're doing. They produced glass models of over 780 plant species. The Glass Flowers Gallery underwent a historic renovation in 2016. They improved the display cases. What the fuck?
Part of the Czech Republic. With Harvard University's Botanical Museum in the late 19th and early 20th, 500.
I love boring ass YouTube videos like this, dude. I love a boring ass lecture like this. Oh my god, I recently discovered a YouTuber who I really enjoy watching while I eat my lunch, if you will, and his name is Jared Henderson. He makes some really, it's like my Broski core videos. Like, I think his main focus is philosophy, but he really offers a wide perspective as to like how AI and access to the internet and like our geopolitical landscape, how all of that affects the human psyche and how we intake information. And this episode or this video I was just watching today was him talking about how AI is making it like everyone is cheating. Everyone at college, even professors. And how that is so antithetical to the point of going to school and like pursuing a higher education and pursuing education of any type is to retain the information or to better oneself. And by cheating or having the instructors, which this is happening, having the instructors and teachers of these classes cheat themselves, whether it be by writing a lesson plan, grading the work, or just like sloppily throwing together a presentation, they're using AI. And a lot of the students' arguments are, what the fuck am I paying for? I could have ChatGPT teach me something, you know, and do permanent damage to the environment. But like, what is the point of this? And so there's two sides of the argument, and go watch his video. Obviously, he's going to be much more articulate than I am, especially today. I'm speaking in fucking tongues. He's saying that for a lot of people, college is just a barrier to entry. Like having a degree is a barrier to entry to getting a quote unquote good job. So people don't go to college because they're interested in pursuing a higher education. They're going to college because they have to. Because unless you want a trade job, which there's nothing wrong with trade jobs, and we need more trade technicians. If you want, you know, a white collar, quote unquote, good paying job, you have to have a college degree, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have retained anything from college. This is just a barrier to entry. When it gets into like the more specific things like electric engineering, or any type of engineering, really, any type of physics, any type of something that requires law school, something that requires a very specific recall of specific knowledge that you've learned and have to retain. Anything outside of those bounds, you don't have to remember shit from college. So his kind of the point of his video is like, AI is to blame for this. College students have always cheated, you know, like that's kind of a thing, but AI is making it almost normal. And what's the point if you go through 4 years of college, you don't remember jack shit, and like, you're paying for that whole experience just to qualify for a job. It's just, it's really fuckered, and it's really sad, and it's really scary to me. And so I like his videos because they're very interesting. Obviously, I love Mina Lee. I talk about her all the time. Who else have I been watching? Oh, I watch I love Peyton King. I love Peyton King. I love the Measley brothers. Yeah, it's quite paradoxical. I really love them. They make me happy. And when I've had enough fucking, I'm angry at the world and the state of the world, I'll go watch Peyton King because he makes me happy. Okay. So these boring ass YouTube videos, I love them. I love them to death. So that's kind of tea. Atlas Obscura in Dublin. I'm sure I didn't even scratch the surface of like cool shit to do in Dublin. And we have an itinerary, by the way. We're doing, actually in Galway. Bitch, I'm so excited. In Galway, we're doing an Irish whiskey and traditional dance tour. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to get violently drunk and probably get naked. Yeah, I'm going to get drunk and be like, I can teach a class. Trust me, I watch YouTube videos, I can teach a class. And when I go on the Irish whiskey and dance tour and I hit the Dougie, what then? I'm very excited for the Irish whiskey and dance tour because of course I am. And of course I'm going to be drunk. Actually, I might take an edible. Actually, I don't know. I'm going to see where the wind takes me. I'm very excited. And I'm going to film it. Or actually, I might live in the moment. Who fucking knows? I'm not going to sit here and claim I'm going to do X, Y, and Z because who fucking knows? I could be a different person in a week. I could come back here and just, you won't recognize me, okay? I'm going to wipe all this shit off the table and I'm going to be like, new theme. Okay, new altar just dropped. Anyway, I want to talk about fragrance for a second because I think I've mentioned this fragrance before on this podcast. And yeah, I'm sweating like a fucking hog right now. There is a fragrance by DS and Durga called Gateau Blackout. This is a controversial fragrance. Not everyone's gonna love it. Not everybody's gonna like it. It is weird. I'm gonna look up the notes. Top notes. Black cherry. This is a cherry fragrance. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Black cherry, snow pine, incense. Heart notes are cocoa, jasmine flowers. Orris Absolute. The base notes are vanilla, friends musk, and fireplace. I'm telling you, there has to be some patchouli in here somewhere. There has to be patchouli in here somewhere. This is Oh, it's a limited edition perfume. Of fucking course it is. I need another one. I love this damn fragrance. It is so weird. It's not like any cherry fragrance I've ever smelled. YSL makes a cherry fragrance that's a take on Black Opium, and it's good. If you want a cherry fragrance, I recommend that one. This one is weird. It's weird, and I swear to God, there's patchouli in it, but I don't know. I love this scent. I've been wearing it a lot lately. I've been reaching for it. Who fucking knows? Wow, this website's cool. Okay. Diaz and Durga makes some really great fragrances, but some really fucking weird fragrances too. Like rubber and petrichor and like, I don't know. There's some really weird green fragrances. Like it just smells like for real grass. I don't know who's spritzing grass. Okay. Let's focus on... Oh, I wanted to do an Atlas Obscura just for Galway really quick. Atlas Obscura, Galway, Ireland. Dublin in the rain is mine. I'm in a city with a sign. Okay, I'm seeing castles. I'm seeing graveyards. I'm seeing gardens. I'm seeing churches. For Ballylee, this 14th century tower house was once the home of Irish poet W.B. Yeats. Wow. Landing site of the first transatlantic flight. A strange egg in a mucky bog of Western Ireland marks the spot of an aviation milestone. Now, why would they put this eyesore on the dam? Nearly a century ago, two young English aviators named William Alcock and Arthur Brown, the most British names I've ever heard, made the first non-stop transatlantic flight and landed in a bog. They didn't mean to end up there. They thought it looked like a nice flat field. So rather than skittering down a smooth patch of green, their mistake meant the record-setting trip from Newfoundland to Western Ireland came to a nose down in a sea of peaty muck. Today, the site of this significant event is marked by some concrete ruins, a peculiar egg-shaped cairn, and a herd of sheep in a windswept, desolate place that belies, B-E-L-I-E-S. Belly. Belies. Of an appearance, fail to give a true notion or impression of, disguise or contradict. Oh, I love learning new words with you guys. Belies. Desolate place that belies the importance of this turning point in aviation history. The level of bravery involved in flying a flimsy, open cockpit biplane across the Atlantic is hard to comprehend in this age of quotidian air travel. Another great word. Come on, Atlas Obscura with the damn vocab words. And you know how I know quotidien is because it's French and it's le pain quotidien. Every day. The everyday bread. Our daily bread. Okay? And the achievement of transatlantic telegraphy. Fuck! Telegraphy. Y'all, something is in the air today. I don't know what. I'm filming this on August 19th. Can somebody tell me if there was a blood red, pale red menstrual moon? I don't know if the moon is menstruating. I think something is going on. Like the synapses they're fried, girl. It's fucking frazzled. I am frazzled. Something's going on. I don't know. Oh, you know what else I wanted to look up? Shout out to the first transatlantic flight. Why did you guys landed in the peaty muck. Most famous Irish folk tale. The tale of, you know what I wish I could nail is, like in Italian and Spanish, I've kind of, even if I don't speak Italian, from my understanding of Spanish being a Romance language, I can make logical conclusions as to, and I also understand how the vowels interact with the consonants and what certain words make, like whether it's a ch or k sound. I know that from how the vowels and consonants are paired together. And they're different in Spanish versus Italian, obviously versus French versus whatever. Irish is so off the beaten path when it comes to my understanding of language that it poses a new and fun challenge for me to try to memorize and understand certain pairs of, like I'm saying, vowels and consonants, where like Saoirse, for example, S-A-O-R, that's stir. IRSE, Sir Sha. I want to be able to memorize how those fit together, and how when I read, 3 vowels in a row or whatever, that conjures up a sound in my mind. Because right now it's like I'm reading this with an English lens, and it's not going to be correct. And I want to reject that, and I want to embrace actually the correct pronunciation. But it's hard, and it makes me feel stupid, and I want to learn. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that because I'm going to fucking butcher it. It's widely considered one of the most famous Irish folk tales, recounting the story of a human warrior who visits a magical land of eternal youth with a fairy princess. I'm liking this. Magical land of eternal youth with a fairy princess. Upon returning to his own world, he finds that centuries have passed. He ages and dies when he touches Irish soil, a potent illustration of the transient nature of time and the bittersweet pull of the past. Damn! After what felt like 3 happy years in this eternal youth with his fairy princess, he grows homesick and wishes to visit his family in Ireland. Niamh gives him a white horse and warns him not to touch Irish soil, as she cannot protect him outside of her land. When he arrives, he finds centuries have passed and his family is long gone. Attempting to help a group of men move a heavy rock, he falls off the horse. His feet touch the ground, and he immediately withers into an old man and dies. The story explores universal themes of love, loss, the passage of time, and the yearning for youth, making it a powerful and enduring narrative. It highlights the Irish concept of the Sheed. Sidhe. She. They're a race of supernatural beings, often described as gods or fairies. Guys, now we're fucking cooking with peanut oil. Now we're cooking with gas. The She are a race of supernatural beings often described as gods or fairies who reside in the other world, accessible through mounds or hollow hills. These beings possess immense beauty and magical powers, including the ability to shapeshift and influence human fate. While not inherently evil, they have their own mysterious agendas and have been known to both help and harm humans. Oh my god, I have to tell you guys I read another one of those Regency Fairytales by, I believe her name is Olivia Atwater. These books are so fucking cute. I think I talked about it a few weeks ago. The first one was called Half a Soul, which I remember recommending. If y'all have read that book, please tell me what you thought of it. And if you haven't, if you think you'd like it, it is what it says. It's a Regency fairy tale, meaning it's a normal Regency era, like English girl who encounters one of the Fae folk and ends up falling in love, obviously. But what I really love about Olivia Atwater's exploration of the Fae, of fairies, is there's some kind of stereotypical descriptions or descriptors of the fairies where they have the pointed ears, ethereal beauty, and oddly colored eyes. They move with grace. They move almost like not adhering to the laws of gravity. They come and go as they please, whatever. And they have a very polite yet mischievous way of speaking. Everything is trying to catch you. Everything is pulling you in and luring you in just to catch you in a deal. Because the fairies in her world, and I want to know where she takes the inspiration. I wonder if it's from Irish folklore, where they're trying to barter a deal with you wherein they get something, or they're trying to learn something about humans. And in exchange for that information, or for getting what you want, they can grant you a wish, whatever. They either get your soul, or they get something that really you can't live without. And so this one I just read, the first one was so good. And the one I just read is called 10,000 Stitches. I'm still thinking about it. I finished it like 2 weeks ago. I'm still thinking about it. I think there's a third one. I'm going to read it because it goes back and explores. What I also like is I think there's 3 books in this. They're standalone books, but they all relate to each other. So like a character from the first book makes a cameo in the second book, but it's about 2 different main characters. I just fucking love it. What I was going to say is what I like about how she describes fairies and how she uses them in her narrative is they're not inherently, like this, AI overview is saying, they're not inherently evil, but there is a playful quality that a lot of fairies across a lot of different cultures are described as having, that they just want to play. Like, it's a game. Everything is gamified to them. And having someone like that interact with a very serious, posh, not even posh, just like virtuous, polite English person, or the fucked up version of what English virtue is, or what that could represent, or what that could look like, and how hypocritical it is, and how counterintuitive it really is. Because in order to be virtuous, you have to step on the shoulders of other people, to get, anyway. Fairies are very intrigued by that, and the humans are very intrigued by the almost perceived lawlessness of fairies and the fairy realm. They call it fairy. That's a place that you go to, and it's a different realm. And they always joke that, well, England is just in the backyard of fairy, so we come and go as we please, but you guys can't access fairy. And I just love it. It's so tea, because this concept of fairies being almost a mirror that we're holding up to ourselves. And I like that. I mean, again, I could write a fucking essay, and I probably should, and I probably will, about how fairies, whether they're real or not, it's this other thing of like what I was talking about with Guillermo del Toro's movies, of whether the monsters are real or not, they serve as a literary function. They serve a literary function, or they serve as a vessel for trying to communicate a larger message. And what I think fairies communicate to us is, we look at fairies sometimes and we're like, how cruel, right? You're playing games with my mortal soul and my life and my virtue and my happiness. But to them, it's like, look how stupid you sound. Because if you really valued all these things, you wouldn't be so reckless in your life, and your society wouldn't be structured the way that it is, that's based on prejudice and putting people down and climbing on top of other people to get to where you want to go. Like, our society is so broken and nasty and wretched. And so for a fairy to come in and be intrigued by it and mirror that behavior back to us as humans, and for us to be disgusted, I think that is so fucking smart. I think it's so smart. I love it. And so I really enjoy that quality about these books, is like, you look at these fairies and you're like, they're so detached, which is the point, right? Because they're not human. They don't have a mortal soul. They don't have human emotions, yet they want to, because there is something so magnetic and alluring about humans and how fragile we really are. We act so strong, but we are such fragile creatures with fragile spirits and fragile souls. But at the same time, we're incredibly resilient and incredibly strong, and we don't act like we're weak. So all these things swirl together, and then when you add this element of, a supernatural being from a different realm, serving as a mirror or serving as a sounding board for some of our own failures or some of our own weaknesses, I just love that shit. I mean, I'm geeking. I'm fucking geeking. I have to read the third one. I'm going to buy it on Barnes and Noble. Okay, so shout out to the Irish fairies, because all respect to you guys, I don't know if I want to meet one. Okay, because if we're operating under this understanding that maybe fairies are real, and don't laugh, ain't shit funny. Fairies are real, and you got to be careful, because if you invite a ghost, a ghoul, a goblin, a fairy, a whatever into your home, they might come, and I don't like that. Okay, my house, please, guys. Seriously, keep that shit outside. In my house, you're really not welcome. I might come interact with you guys outside. Please don't follow me in here. Okay, guys? Okay, the she. Irish folklore is rich with stories of fairies, elves, and other magical beings. These tales are often passed down through generations and are believed to contain important lessons for us humans. Many believe that these legends are rooted in real events, and there was, and still is, a very real belief in these inhabitants of the fairy mounds and the powers they wield. The Sidhe, or fairy people, are said to travel the mountains and forest of Ireland, usually invisible to humans, and to be found also in the bogs, caves, lakes, and islands of the Irish landscape. Especially belonging to them, though, are the old forts and mounds, the ancient monuments built by our ancestors, which contain entrances to where the Sidhe really live, the land of fairy, or the fairy realm, which we call the other world. They generally appear as human-like, though there are exceptions among the different types of Irish fairy. And though there are some who are traditionally small in stature, such as the leprechaun, they will most often appear as regular human size too. Irish mythology and folklore traditions varies through the ages on whether they are the Tuatha De Danann, a race of gods and goddesses banished to the Hollow Hills, or fallen angels, not quite bad enough to be cast to hell during the fall, stuck in limbo here on earth until the day when they are forgiven and can reclaim their place in heaven. In modern terms, Irish folk who believe in the She tend to view them as inhabitants of the other world, encompassing a variety of races or tribes or types who have access to this world and can manifest here or affect humans at will, though humans are usually not aware of their presence or interference, often until it is too late. Okay, guys, I think that'll do it for me. This episode, be careful out there, guys. The she could be anywhere. I just, please proceed with caution and be respectful to them. If you guys want merch, go to broski.shop. If you guys want my songs of the week, there is an official playlist created by my squire, Elizabeth, shout out. And there's also an unofficial playlist that some loyal member of Broski Nation has been compiling for the last 4 to 5 years. So shout out to her. And one of my songs of the week is Sam Fender's cover of Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. Go give it a listen if you haven't. And also, while you're at it, give his cover of Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored by Ariana Grande a listen as well, because that motherfucker can do a cover like no one else. I'll see you guys when I'm back from Ireland, and wish me luck. Okay, goodbye.